with DraftKings contributor Geoff Ulrich. Geoff, we're going to go through some DFS plays, some bets. You tell me what you like for tonight's 10-game NHL slate. But first, we're going to kick this segment off with some praise. Geoff, some praise for you. Yesterday, one of your favorite bets and DFS plays was Kevin Fiala of the Wild. And last night, he just destroyed the Sharks. He had a hat trick, 4 points, 8 shots on goal to total 51.5 DK fantasy points. Highest scoring player on the slate, crushed his over 2.5 shots on goal prop you love so much. So just, a little clap it out for Geoff. So yeah.
I'm here for this, Jesse. You can just, let's just bring up the good stuff and let's ignore the fact that my bets the last 2 days had missed. So I'm all for it. Fiala hitting was nice. I got another guy that could, I think could have a similar night here. So yeah, I'm ready to get back into it.
Oh, Geoff's ready to dive right back in, so let's do it. So obviously, big 10-game slate. We're going to start at center. We see Connor McDavid at his usual spot atop the salary list, 9,100 in a great matchup against the Senators. Can you give us a center that you like tonight that has a shot at matching McDavid if you want to fade him?
Yeah, I think the obvious pivot tonight is going to be Mika Zibanejad. I love playing Zibanejad when the Rangers offense is really clicking, and they're definitely clicking right now. Scored 8 times against Pittsburgh. They've had a couple just 8-goal games and over the last month or so. So that's going to be the natural pivot for sure. Zibanejad's great, plays a ton. He's got as much upside. He's not as consistent a point getter as McDavid. Obviously, no one really is, but upside wise, pretty similar. And in a matchup against the Penguins, who've allowed 15 goals in the last 2 games, that's a good pivot. The guy I actually really like, though, and I think you can, if you're really looking to save money, is Matthew Barzal. At 6,500. That's the guy I really like targeting. I think he's good value going up against Philly. I've talked about Philly's issues on this show a lot. They just stink, in goal on defense, and they just give up. They don't even give up a lot of scoring chances. They're just not good at keeping the puck out of their own net, and they don't have good special teams. So it could be a spot where Barzal picks up one on the power play, maybe picks up an extra one. He's played really well over his last little bit as well. He's got 15 shots on goal over his last 3 games. So you like the aggressiveness. He's almost pushing towards a point per game play. So 6.5K on salary. Matthew Barzal is definitely the guy I like going down to.
All right, well, over on the wing, you find the Rangers are Artemi Panarin sitting at 8,400. This dude been on fire lately. 4 goals, 11 points over his last 5 games. He's averaging over 20 DK fantasy points in that span. So would you pay up for him, or is there someone else on the wing you'd prefer to be spending a good chunk of your salary on?
No, I think Panarin does make sense. You look at the top 3 plays. You've got Ovechkin and Pastrnak going up against each other. Boston's been juggling their lines around a bit. So I'm not sure how much I really want to trust, Pastrnak in this spot. And then, Ovechkin going up against the Bruins who don't allow a ton of scoring chances. They're a good defensive team for the most part. I'm not really sure I want to take a chance on Ovi either. So Panarin, he doesn't get the shots on goal that those other guys do, but he's just such a consistent points producer that he kind of looks like a solid floor play here. Now, obviously if he only comes through with 1 assist, you're not going to have a big night. So I do think that if you're looking for a similar upside play for a GPP, I think Tyler Toffoli at 6,600 going up against the Jets. The Jets are still bottom 10 teams in terms of scoring chances allowed. They'll give up 5 goals in a game. They have very good goaltending, and obviously they can get shut down. But I think Toffoli has just as much upside as Panarin. He's a little bit more boom or bust. But in this spot, you're getting a higher shots on goal guy, a higher volume producer in that regard with Toffoli. Montreal offense still a little bit hit or miss, but at 6,600, it's such a big savings. So I guess, maybe the theme is, Panarin, if you're having a core lineup or a cash game lineup, but Toffoli's the guy I would probably target more in GPPs. You get such good savings there for similar upside.
Speaking of savings, Geoff, how about a value play tonight? So cheaper players catching your eye here?
Yeah, let's stick with the Islanders. Anthony Beauvillier, 4,100, getting first line power play exposure for the Islanders. Again, it's a really good matchup for their power play. Philly is pretty terrible on special teams, bottom 5 in terms of penalty kill as well. I just like targeting the Flyers, especially with the value plays because, obviously team allowing a lot of goals. You get these guys cheap around 4K. If they get a goal for you, it's just such a big boom, at that price tag. So Beauvillier is kind of a shoot first player as well. Only has 14 points on the year, but he's kind of come alive lately, 6 goals over his last 10 games. He's averaging right around 2 shots on goal. I like targeting him around the 4K range. If you want to get a little bit cheaper, and again, we're targeting this Rangers offense who's been really good. Capo Caco, 3,200 for the Rangers. He's kind of been in this quasi like second line, third line role, gets a little bit of power play exposure, but again, a shoot first player, averaging 2.5 shots on goal. For 3,200, Kakko is a decent little punt play at that price.
All right, let's talk about some sportsbook stuff. Which game on this slate do you like to hit the over?
So, the unders have kind of been trending pretty well for the NHL. Like the overs really haven't been solid bets of late, just for the most part. But there are a couple games where I would definitely trend towards playing the over rather than the under. The first one's probably going to be, the main one is going to be Pittsburgh, New York. I talked about the Rangers offense, and you just look at the way these two teams have gone. Like Pittsburgh's offense has been really good as well. 4 of their last 7 games have hit 7 or more goals now for Pittsburgh. And then you look at the Rangers, it's a similar story. Guys like Zibanejad's picking up, Panarin back in the lineup, he's picked it up. 5 of their last 8 games have hit 7 or more goals now. These two teams combined for 11 goals in their last meeting. I think it was 11, it's somewhere around there. The Rangers scored 8 in their last meeting. That's all you need to know. So with Pittsburgh, perhaps, getting a little bit of aggression in net, I wouldn't want to touch the under here. So it definitely has me leaning towards the over in that game. If you are playing totals, I probably like going the under in a game like Buffalo, New Jersey a little bit better than playing any of the overs. But for an over specifically, definitely Pittsburgh, New York.
All right, Slate Approved Pick Time, Geoff. Your favorite bet or DFS play today, wherever you want to go. What is it?
Okay, let's stick with. I'll give you 2 on the sports book. Let's stick with the player prop. Let's go over on Matthew Barzal's shots on goal. You can get him at plus 110, over 2.5 shots on goal going up against the Flyers. Barzal's averaging 2.7 shots on goal over his last 10 games. He's got 15 shots on goal over his last 3 games. I think at plus money, that's a great over prop to take. But let's stick with my boys, so to speak, the Sabres. The Sabres are at home against the Devils, and they're plus 123. The Devils are terrible. They just traded away Kyle Palmieri. I know the Sabres are bad too, but like when you get 2 teams like this that are so bad together, let's just take the one with plus money. The Sabres are the ones that have actually looked a little bit better over the last couple games. They got that big win against Philly, right? So, plus money, I think the Sabres at home on the money line here also makes sense as a bet.